Congratulations on the movie, for one. Of course, of course. Now, with it being this grand, love story, what makes it so different compared to other love stories out there? What really causes this one to stick out?
I think it's a mix of a couple of different, lovely elements of this equation. I think one, it's the fact that you don't usually get to see women of my skin tone and complexion at the lead of their own narrative. You don't usually get to see a black love story that doesn't have racial trauma. And you don't get to see such nuance and three-dimensional characters that don't really fit into any type of stereotype or caricature. I mean, Molly is a character who loves Star Wars, but when you think of that and the way that the media has portrayed people who look like that, you think of one type of person and she doesn't look like that. And I think there's something beautiful about recognizing that every demographic is not a monolith. We don't have this little avatar that we all kind of subscribe to. So I think in a lot of different ways, that's kind of what this movie is about breaking.
What would you say was the most unique experience you had as an actor, whether it's on set or off set, while working on this production?
So the most unique experience was probably the end scene in the hospital. It was really, I've never felt such real emotion and had that captured on camera. It's Darrell taking me with a wheelchair. We're riding through the entire hospital, and I'm actually laughing, and all of these. To make something like that feel real, you have to be 100% invested. And so I've never had to invest so much and got that investment returned back immediately. I think, that was my favorite scene. I hope to, every time I see it, I get all misty-eyed as if I wasn't even there. But it's my favorite.
Well, thank you again for talking with me. Of course. What about this love story really makes it stick out from all the rest?
It's just been forever since you've seen it. It feels very necessary, feels timely, and we're just telling a story in a way that I feel will open the door for many more stories like this to exist, especially in the space of black people, and we get inundated with our traumas, whether it be film or television, and so just to be able to show us loving each other. And feeling love, I think it's a revolutionary act, and so it just feels different. It really does.
For you, while working on it, what was the most unique experience you had, whether that was on or off set?
I'm on a set hearing people say words that I wrote. That's different. I've never been on that side of it. I've always been on the other side saying words written by other people. Some of the greatest writers of all time, I've had the pleasure of reading their words. So to have my own words being read on a set, sometimes I was like, wow, this is we're here. I've been working on this film for 7 years. So to really be here and on set, it was just it's just a blessing, man.
Well, thank you again. I wanted to ask right off the bat, What about this love story really sticks out from other love stories out there?
That it's not relegated to just two people. There's just love. It's a love story, You see it in the friendships. You see it in the marriages. You see it in this relationship. You see two characters that have love for themselves. Even in these two main characters, they have love for themselves. So that's what I think sets it apart. Usually, there's a thing. There's this thing, and then there's everything else that doesn't relate to it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for you as an actor, what was the most unique part of filming this project?
I haven't had a chance to play a lot of fathers. Okay. So that was unique, and being able to care for Aresma and Darrell in different ways was a lot of fun for me. So that was.
Last question for you. You're obviously in The Bear. So season 4 next year. When do you start getting back to work on that?
We'll start shooting that early next year. I'd say we usually start February, March. So we'll probably go back around that time, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I look forward to it. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right.
When it comes to love stories, right, what makes this one stick out from the pack?
It feels very real. It's a love story to love stories, if that makes sense. It's a love letter to the idea of a love story. It's so beautiful, and I gotta hug these people.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, but there's just something very real about it. You know, it's a beautiful, emotional story with two actors that really connected, and you can really see it in the film.
Okay, I'll skip to the last question for you. So you're obviously.
Yay!
Do you want to go do the group photo?
No.
Okay.
When it's ready, yeah.
You're obviously in a good place. I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
You know, that show, it feels hard to do a continuation of,
Right.
right? But your character is in a very unique spot.
Yeah.
Is if they wanted to do anything.
Who to come to?
Have you heard any talks about it? Would you want to come back for any kind of spin-off?
I think for Mike Schur, the creator, I would do anything forever. And he's so smart that if he thought it was a good idea, I know it would be a good idea. So I'm sort of leaving it up to him. I love Janet. I love The Good Place. I love that cast. So I'm like, I don't want us to rush into anything that doesn't need to be explored. But if there's story to explore, I think we'd all be down.
Who doesn't love Janet?
You tell me.
Thank you very much again. First thing I wanted to ask was just, what about this love story do you think is so unique and really makes it stick out from the pack?
When I first read this script, first of all, I cried. Secondly, I was reminded of Wong Kar-wai, and interestingly, I'm reticent to elicit that name through Western storytelling because I think Wong Kar-wai, exists in his own space for a reason. But this felt so intimate and so unpolished that I couldn't help but reminisce on movies that raised me. And I don't think that we seek an unpolished story anymore. We don't seek something that's a little rough around the edges anymore. We seek perfection. And this movie, it doesn't seek perfection, and I love that. It seeks reality, and to me, it feels real. Yeah.
Now, for you, just as an actor, what would you say is the most unique experience you had while working on it?
I'll tell you what, it was the first job back after strikes, and I forgot how to do my job. Everyone forgot how to do their job. I think that was probably what struck me the most. It was a process of learning together again. It was gratitude. It was deep gratitude. All of us coming back together again, especially in LA. I think we were one of the first jobs back in LA, and we were all excited, nervous, and ready to dive in together. It was kind of like learning to swim together all over again. Yeah, it was amazing.
In celebration of this film, I wanted to ask you, what are some of your favorite love stories on screen?
Oh my God. Well, I'm a typical girl, so I love The Notebook. I love Jason's Lyric. What else do I love? Oh, I love Notting Hill. I love Julia Roberts in the 90s. I love Pretty Woman. So yeah, I have a bunch. Don't get me started.
That's very fair.